So, a testimonial for Peter Beckenham. Well, I first got in touch with Peter about 7 months ago, almost to the day actually, and back then it was very, very safe to say that I was failing. I was working online full time, and I kind of got into it because I knew I always wanted to do that. I always knew I wanted to have my own business, so I went all in, but I was failing. I was really struggling. I was not making many sales. I was a little bit lost. I felt like I had a lot of potential and a lot of drive, but I didn't really know where to be spending my time. I also didn't really know where I was going to go forward or how I was going to make changes. I felt like I was just kept knocking at the door and nothing would happen, and then eventually I got through to Peter and we spoke a little bit on Skype. We had a few calls, and the whole process of his sales strategy and how he did things, how he marketed and how he spoke to me on the phone, after honestly 15 minutes I knew he was my guy. I knew that I wanted to work with him, and I knew I wanted to replicate everything that he did, because what you'll find with Peter is that he bases all of his business and everything he ever does around a few key pillars. And first of all is truth. What you'll get with Peter is he'll tell you the truth. It may not always be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear, and by having the truth all of the time right from the start, makes your life a whole lot easier. And that's the first thing. The second thing, Peter keeps things very, very simple. Beforehand I had a really complicated system. It was all over the place. There was lots of parts that were really inefficient, and Peter helped me simplify the whole process, which made it really, really replicable. The third thing Peter does really, really well is honesty, and I suppose you can link this with truth, but Peter is very, very honest with your situation. He was very honest with me about where my skills were, where my strengths were, and also really honest with me about where my weaknesses were, and he wasn't afraid to tell me where I was going wrong, where I was making mistakes. And the work me and Peter have done together over the last 6 months, firstly, I don't think I'd have been in business still without Peter's help. Not for a lack of want and not for a lack of trying, but I just think financially I wouldn't have been where I am now. I wouldn't have been able to sustain the life, because my burn rate back then of money was far higher than my income. So Peter really put a stop to that. He sort of turned the momentum into my favour, and really just gave me a system that I can trust, a system that I know works, a simple strategy. And we've been building on that ever since, and the core hasn't changed of the truth, the honesty, the transparency, all of those things that Peter put into me and really made me realise that that is the way to do business. Sales since meeting Peter has been a joy, to be honest. It really has been, because the way we've set it up, I can now attract leads and customers, and I don't really have to sell that much. I just educate and then eventually get people over the line, and it's been really, really revolutionary. So this video is also a thank you to Peter. I don't thank him enough for all the work we've done, and I know next year we've got even more great work planned. So that's my testimonial for Peter. I think honestly I wouldn't be here without him. So thank you very much, Peter. And if anybody's looking for bags and bags of experience, endless amounts of strategy, and more than anything, what Peter does for me, he really motivates me. In entrepreneurship and business, it's really easy to get down, and just knowing that he'll be there 24 hours a day, on email replying, then we have a call once a week. It makes me accountable, and it really shows me that if Peter is still out there in his mid-70s, still producing high value quality content that really is impacting lives, then I at 25 have no excuses to not produce to the best of my ability. And just having him there, the support, him believing in me, that's a really nice thing. And if you get the chance to work with Peter, he will believe in you. He doesn't pick people he doesn't believe in, and I didn't know that back then, but it's allowed me to start believing in myself, and I know the future is extremely bright, and I know that Peter is going to be a big part of that future too. So thank you very much, Peter. That's my testimonial.